Hi everyone, welcome to the second video for Lesson 4, which we are going to continue reading through Thanksgiving's Day, and then you will get an assessment to finish out this lesson. Is cooked, I explained. Really? Como inventan los Americanos? They make everything so easy, she said, relieved, then slid the turkey back into the oven, only to call me over again 20 minutes later. Bueno, the puerco is done. The turkey must be done too. Look at it, she said. Pero, abuela, the blue thing hasn't popped up. We can't take it out, I demanded. Ay, mijo, look at the skin, toasted like a puerco, she insisted, knocking on it with the back of a spoon. It's done, I tell you. Además, it's already 7 o'clock. We have to put the other things in the oven before everyone gets here. Pero, abuela, we can't, I repeated. She ignored my protest. What do you know about cooking? Give me los llames and el pie. I knew it was useless to argue any further, and hoped for the best as I topped the yams with marshmallows and cinnamon and took the pumpkin pie out of the freezer. The doorbell rang. I told you, she said smugly. Andale, get the door. It was the Espinosa clan who arrived first. All 3 generations. Tia Mirta with her showgirl hips, Tio Maurizio wearing a tie and jacket, unwilling to accept that his days as a Cuban tycoon were over. There were 2 children, my cousins, with fancy names, Margot and Adolfo, and their grandmother, Esmeralda, who was constantly picking food out of her ill-fitting dentures. They burst through the door with kisses, hellos, and happy Thanksgivings. Tia Mirta handed Mama a giant pot she brought with her. Mira, here are the frijoles. I think they are a little salty. Pero Maurizio was rushing me, she said. Minutes later, Cousin Maria Elena arrived with her hair in curlers and a plastic-wrapped glass pan full of yuca con mojito. Happy Thanksgiving Day. Then Tio Berto with 4 loaves of Cuban bread under his armpits. Happy Thanksgiving. At first I thought it was Abuela who didn't trust that a purely American meal would satisfy, but when she was totally surprised by Tia Ophelia's golden caramel flan, I knew it wasn't her. It was Mama who must have asked everyone to bring a dish to sabotage Abuela's first attempt at a real Thanksgiving. My suspicion was confirmed when Tia Susana arrived with a platter of fried plantains and a bed of grease-soaked paper towels. Mira, she said to Mama, handing her the platter, los plantanos that you asked me to bring, I hope they are sweet. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, you didn't have to bring nothing. Pero gracias anyway, Mama said, casually placing her palm against her cheek, a gesture that always gave her away when she was lying. Abuela served the pork roast next to the turkey, pop-up timer still buried in the bird. A Cuban side followed every American side being passed from hand to hand. That's sure a big chicken, Tio Pepe chuckled as he carved into the bird and the pork. What's this, the innards? He asked when he reached the stuffing. I had to explain the stuffing concept again to all the relatives as he piled generous portions of turkey and pork on everyone's plates. Papa was about to dig in when I insisted we say grace, proudly announcing I would read a special poem I had written as a prayer in Mrs. Echeverria's class. Dear God, like the Pilgrims and Indians did long ago, we bow our heads and pray so you'll know how thankful we are for this feast today, and for all the blessings you send our way in this home of the brave and land of the free, where happy we shall forever and ever be. Amen. As soon as I finished, Tia Susana asked Tio Berto, who then asked Minervino, who then asked Maria Elena, who then asked me what the heck I had just said. None of them understood a single word of my prayer in English. Buena, ahora en español, por favor, Tio Maurizio requested, and I had to do an impromptu translation of my prayer in Spanish that ended with a resounding Amen and a roar of Feliz Thanksgiving, que viva Cuba from the family. Nothing like the dittos. And so the moment of truth was at hand, or rather at mouth, as everyone began eating. Not a minute later, Mama asked, What's this canela y meringue on top? So sweet. Are you sure this isn't dessert? Abuela instantly responded to her spurn. They are llames, like the yuca, but orange and sweet. That's all. Just eat. Ay, Dios mío, orange yuca? What about blue beans? Mama laughed, and the rest of the family joined in. They are not like yuca. They are the boniato. It's what they eat on the first Thanksgiving, I explained. Really? They had marshmallows that long ago? Mama quipped. She saw my face crumple. What else do you know about Thanksgiving, mijo? she asked me, changing her tone and taking an interest. I went on for a few minutes, telling the tale of the Pilgrims and Indians in Spanish, so that everyone could understand. Soon the conversation changed to Tia Mirta's black beans. You make the best frijoles in all of Miami. Papa complimented her, and everyone agreed as they poured ladlefuls of black beans over their mashed potatoes like it was gravy. Nothing like the dittos. What's the baba roja for? Abuela asked me, holding a dish with a log of cranberry jelly. I was embarrassed to admit that I hadn't figured out what that was for. Well, it must be for el pan, Abuelo assumed, and he began spreading cranberry jelly on his slice of Cuban bread, already buttered. Oh, sí. Everyone responded to the solved mystery and followed suit. It was the thing they seemed to enjoy the most, besides the roast pork, of course, which Tio Berto couldn't stop praising as perfectly seasoned and perfectly tender. He spooned the bottom of the roasted pan and poured pork fat drippings over the lean slices of turkey on his plate. Ahora sí, much better. Not so dry, he proclaimed after a taste, and then proceeded to drench the platter of carved turkey with ladles of pork fat swimming with sautéed onions and bits of garlic. Nothing like the dittos, but at least after that everyone had seconds of the turkey. After dessert, Abuela made 3 rounds of Cuban coffee. Papa turned on the stereo system and put the Hoy Como Ayer, his favorite 8-track tape with 8 billion songs from their Cuban days in Cuba. The crescendo began, and Minervino took his butter knife and tapped out a matching beat on his soda can. Before you could say Happy Thanksgiving, there was a conga line 20 Cubans long, circling the domino players around the Florida sunroom. When the conga finished, the line broke up into couples dancing while I sat sulking on the sofa. You can't teach old Cubans new tricks, I thought, watching the shuffle of their feet. There seemed to be no order in their steps, no discernible pattern, the chaos of there. Now, I know that was the end of the story. We will continue reading it the next time. But it's kind of sad to see, how the main character is feeling about how his family is taking to the Thanksgiving. So now for your assessment, you're going to actually choose one of those following prompts, and you're going to be writing and answering these on the Google form, where you need to answer the question, but you need to put dialogue in your narrative. So, number 1, write a time outside of school when you taught something to somebody or someone taught you something. Think carefully about what you said to each other so that you can include dialogue in your narrative. So that's the first one you can choose, but again, you have to include dialogue. So if you really cannot remember, some of those rules of the dialogue that we talked about, you can watch my last video to help you figure that out. Number 2, write about a conversation you wish you had longer or shorter. So you can actually create a conversation of a time that you wish a conversation would, continue going on, or you wish it would cut short. Or 3, write about a conversation you had with a friend about sports, books, or movies. Because you will begin a new paragraph when the speaker changes, your narrative may be more than 1 paragraph long. You may still follow the paragraph about a paragraph guidelines by including a topic sentence, several detail sentences, and a concluding sentence. So remember, one of those rules is if the character that is speaking changes, you have to change the paragraph. So if you're doing it in a Google form, you're going to hit enter. If you're doing it on paper, you will just start with the next line. So you have to choose one of these 3 prompts in order to complete your assessment. And I will see you guys in my next video. I'll see you soon. Bye.